Hi there. Thank you for coming in. I was so happy to see you made an appointment. I knew you've been struggling a little bit with your career path, so when I saw your name in my calendar, I was really excited. So, what have you been up to, and what do you want to discuss today? Okay, so looking for something new, not quite sure what path to take? Well, first of all, know that that's completely normal. There are so many things that change in our lives, so starting out in one direction after school and then changing to another is not abnormal at all, okay? And just know it's never too late to start something new, no matter how old you are, okay? So, do you have a resume with you? Alright, so I will just set this aside. I will look it over in a little bit once we've discussed some other things, alright? So let me just ask a few questions before we get started. Just bring up my career portal here. And I know you are in here since you visited a few years ago, so let's see. Alright, so are you still at 22 Maple Avenue? Okay. Perfect. And what about your email? Has it changed? Okay, what is it? Great. And then what about an updated phone number? Okay. Very good. Alright, so I know where you're currently working, but remind me how many years you've been doing that. Okay. And what specifically do you like about that job? And what do you not like about the job? Okay, so just a little bit overworked, underpaid. Common theme for the students that I counsel, so it's a tough market right now, and it has been obviously over the past few years, so just hang in there and I'm going to help you as much as I can. So if I understand correctly, you're looking to maybe take a step back from what you're currently doing, potentially shift industries, but more than anything, have a little bit more time at home. And do you have any idea what kind of job you would like, or what industry? Yeah, I think that would be a good fit. Alright, and then specifically for the job, would you like to be on your feet more or more of a desk job? Okay. And then full-time or part-time? And corporate or startup environment? Okay. Home, office, or hybrid work. So would you like to be working at home full-time, office full-time, or 50-50? And then speaking of hours, would you like it to be a typical 9 to 5? Would you like more flexibility, where you can work early or work later? Obviously, since you want a little bit more home time, I'm assuming you don't want to work weekends. Okay, so weekends and okay. So a typical 9 to 5. And then the last question is, what are your short-term goals and long-term goals with your career? If you don't have a concrete answer, that's okay. I like that. Okay. And like I said, switching careers can be scary, but don't allow yourself to not take a risk, and I'm going to help you do that. So the next thing I'm actually going to do is just a brief assessment. Don't worry, it will be simple. So on my screen, I have this activity, and the main idea is you answer what is of least importance and what is of most importance for these statements, okay? All pertaining to your career. So, the statement is, in my ideal job, it's important that ... And then I'm going to read the statements, okay? So after I've read a statement, you have to tell me a number between 1 and 5. 1 being the least, 5 being the most. So we'll start with the first one. In my ideal job, it's important that I try out my own ideas. So being able to be independent in your job. So then you would just tell me a number between 1 and 5. So what would your answer be? Okay. And I'm just going to actually write your answers down here, alright? In my ideal job, it's important that I make use of my own abilities. It is important that I do work that makes me feel accomplished. Okay. It's important that I have freedom to work alone. Okay. It's important that I could plan my work with little supervision. It's important that I could do something different every day. It's important that I have supervisors that provide good management. It's important that my job provides opportunities for advancement. It's important that the pay for my job compares well for my level of education. It's important that I receive recognition for the work that I do. it's important that I would be busy all the time in my job. Okay, so I think that's all the questions for now. And what I'm actually going to do is run your answers through our system that we have and email you the results. And it's kind of interesting because you'll be able to see what kind of career paths match up with your personality. And I know this was just a brief questionnaire, but there will also be links to some other tests that you can take if you're interested. Okay? So now I would like to just give you a few general tips before we move on to your resume, alright? So have you started job searching yet? Okay, so a little bit here and there. And how have you been job searching? Do you typically use LinkedIn? Do you use other search engines? Okay. So I would suggest you update your LinkedIn profile. I know it's not something that everybody likes using, but it can be helpful at times. You can network on it, and you can also search for jobs. But it's really in your hands how much you'd like to use it. I would at least have it updated to have your current job today and that you are open for work as well. Alright? And then of course when you're looking for jobs, don't just rely on jobs popping up on search engines. Make sure you go directly to company websites and navigate to their career pages. And you can search for jobs there. Sometimes there are contacts you can reach out to if you go on their LinkedIn. So for example, if you find a job at a company you really want to work for, check out their LinkedIn and you might come across some recruiters, and then you can reach out to them. And with a professional note, they will likely respond to you. Okay? And that can help you get an interview or at least just network. So since you haven't started looking yet, I'd recommend doing that. Updating your LinkedIn and just browsing every night. You can at least start to see what's out there. Okay? And when's the last time you had an interview? So it's been a while. So I would suggest you do some mock interviews. We actually offer them here. So you could meet with me and I could pretend to interview you. The nice thing is, you know me, there's no pressure. It's just a helpful way to get practice. So I'm actually going to email you a few things at the end of this appointment. And one of them will be the link to the mock interviewing scheduler. Okay? So, again, I'd be happy to do that for you. I see you have your contact info, which is good. Name, address, email, and phone number. Always make sure that's at the top. You have your education here. Very good. Your degree date. Then it looks like you move into your current job. And I see you have good active language at the front of every sentence. So, determined, conducted, designed, supported. Always have a word like that in the front of every sentence. And it's good that you have your current job at the top. That's where it should always be. You always want your most important information first. And I'll tell you why in a second. Okay, then you have a few awards here, which is good since you are a recent graduate. And then your past work experience with some bullet points here. And I would almost move this up if you apply to a job that requires any of these skills. Okay, so just an idea. And then languages, which is always good. Okay, so I like the flow here. I would say maybe have a little bit less information under these previous jobs when you were younger. So less info. And maybe add another bullet point or two for your current job. Okay? But I do like the layout. Simple, clean. One page is all you need for now. And it does look pretty good. Now, I would tailor each of your resumes for the job that you're applying to. I know, this sounds like a lot of extra work, but it's really not too bad once you get the hang of it. So let me give you an example. I see that you, were an electrical assistant. So if you were to apply for an electrical assistant job, you want to make sure you have good detailed information under there, because that hiring manager will look there first, okay? They won't care as much about the other jobs. If you're applying to something completely new that's not even on your resume, like, for example, a developer, then what I would do is think of things that you've done in past jobs that could relate to the developer role. Maybe you've had prior coding experience. Maybe you've worked on a side project. Anything like that that you can put in here. Okay? So it's almost like a puzzle that you have to piece together for every job you apply to. So I would recommend that. And I'm going to put a note here. So, new resume for each job. And keywords. So, you're going to need to put keywords in your resume that relate to the job you're applying to. So again, for example, if you are trying to be a software developer, if you've used any of the languages that are in the job description, let's just say Python, you would want Python under your technical skills, okay? If you're applying to be a librarian, they wouldn't so much care about that, okay? Do you understand? Good. So again, think of it like that puzzle that you have to put together. The other thing to know is, likely, when you're applying to a job, your application might be fed through a database, and that database will pull out those keywords and either filter you off to the recruiters or just completely disregard you for the job. Okay? So having those keywords is very important. And going back to why I said having important information at the top, that's because once the resume reaches the recruiter desk, they will not have much time to look at your resume. They're looking at hundreds each day. So you want to put your most important achievements at the top, your current job, anything you want to stand out. Because the top is where they will look first, and then the bottom is where they likely won't pay as much attention. And then the last tip I want to give, because I see it's missing, is including some numbers on your resume. So any data that you have, I know that can kind of be tricky if you don't really work in that type of job, but let me think of an example. So I see that you worked as an event planner. You could put the number of events you planned, the number of people you marketed the event to, the number of people who attended, things like that. If you used social media for that event, you could talk about how much you engaged the audience, how many people your posts reached. That's all good things that hiring managers would want to see, okay? And you can be proud of yourself for those things, so it's good to list. Include more data. So I think that's it for your resume, but I did want to mention a few other things. So we do have a job board for this office, and I think you might be interested in one of the jobs. You have a lot of transferable skills here that I think would be a good match. So I'm going to send you that information just in case you want to apply. And if you do want to apply, just let me know so I can put in a good word with the manager. And I know that job isn't exactly in line with what you're currently doing, but again, I think you have a lot of great skills that would be good for that job. So let's recap. We need you to update your LinkedIn, start browsing for jobs, improve your resume a little bit, and I have all the notes written on your resume for you. And if you need help applying for jobs along the way, or if you get frustrated, please come in and we can kind of talk about where you are, alright? And we can also do that mock interview. So, interview prep / mock interview. Okay. And then potentially apply for this job and circle back with me. And I owe you your results of that little test I gave you, so I will send those once I have them, probably by later today. Right. And like I said, I want to hear from you often, so you can meet with me every week if you'd like. We can go over your resume again, go over your LinkedIn, I can help you apply for jobs, I can help you craft some messages to send to recruiters, whatever you need, I'm here for you. And again, don't be discouraged. I have applied to hundreds of jobs and been turned down, but just know that the right one is waiting for you. And even if you accept a job and end up not liking it, just remember that they're all stepping stones to other careers you'll have. So keep your head up and good luck. And you have my information if you need to contact me. And I'm just about to send this email to you now, so you'll have all of that as well. Okay? Well, again, I wish you the best of luck, and please come in again so we can chat about your progress. Have a great rest of your day.